To discuss more, I'm joined in studio now by Dr. Eytan Cohen Yanarocak, a Turkey expert at the Moshe Dayan Center at Tel Aviv University. Hi, thanks for being with me in the i24News studio. Listen, when it comes to these recent statements from Erdogan to Al Jazeera, are there any signs that Turkey does want a possible war with Israel, or is this just Erdogan's own message to his own base?
Okay. When I'm analyzing this latest statement, I see two different layers. The first layer is he made a very, responsible statement that Turkey is looking towards the peace and Turkey does not want to speak the language of war. I think for Erdogan, this is super responsible. Okay, so this must be praised. However, the second layer of his statement, of course, is definitely understandable for a Turkish president, given the Turkish national pride. You also mentioned that this is very much related with his base, and this was the Al Jazeera channel. This is completely understandable, but my point is here that he did not rule out of such a war. He could say, since 1949, Israel and Turkey, they do enjoy a bilateral recognition. Both countries never declared any hostilities against each other. I mean, he could also add these important sentences, but he chose not to do it. My concern here is this message of talking about a possible war between Israel and Turkey, is sickening me. This is unfortunately poisoning the social discourse of two countries. People during the 1990s could never imagine such a scenario would ever take place. But today, with these kind of questions and with these kind of talks in the TVs and the statements, unfortunately, the deterioration of the Turkish-Israeli relationship is going to a place which, in my opinion, two sides would never profit from that. I mean, it's a collision course that the realpolitik is dictating both to Jerusalem and both to Ankara to refrain from taking such an action. It would only, make the Iranians happy.
But let's say something does happen. What would this new defense pact actually change? We saw Saudi Arabia was attacked by the Houthis hours after it was signed. Neither Pakistan or Turkey did anything.
Yeah.
So what would this relationship actually entail?
Well, first of all, let me highlight that Turkey is a NATO member since 1952. So I'm very skeptical whether this Mecca agreement would contribute to Turkey's, immediate security. I think it would create a huge burden for Turkey. As you mentioned, the Houthis tested the ability of this agreement, whether it has some sanction power or not. But days after the Houthi attack against Saudi Arabia, we began to see the latest Turkish transport airplanes. They began to carry some military, ammunition, and I assume also their experts and military personnel to Saudi Arabia. There are some unconfirmed reports that Turkey will integrate new military bases, not only in the vicinity of the Yemenite region, but also they would do that also in west of Saudi Arabia, in the city of Tabuk, which is very close to Jordanian border. So, long story short, when I'm looking at Turkish diplomacy since March 2025, I do see that they have such a strategy of encircling Israel with this Muslim Sunni nations. In Syria, they formed an organization called Neighbors of Syria. And also, of course, we should speak about this Mecca agreement, that there is also high probability that Egypt may also take part in this initiative.
Continue to expand.
Yes, and when we are looking at this huge Middle Eastern picture at large, we will see that from Israeli perspective, Israel would be encircled. So that's a very important challenge for the Israeli national security.
There's certainly things that we have to continue to look at when it comes to this growing tension between these two countries. Dr. Eytan, Cohen, Yanarocak, thank you for being with us in the I24 News studio.
Thank you for having me.
With the updates. Thank you.